further. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, look, I've elaborated on the Chinese propaganda machine, the lying, deceiving Chinese propaganda machine. Now, why would anyone in their right minds accept these claims at face value and gun for their own government? Why would you do that?
Very simply, Rahul, the hatred for Modi. There is no other reason. All a very good evening to you and a very happy New Year to you and all my fellow panelists.
You too.
Look, we've known this for a very long time, Rahul, and this has now become almost like a disease. Not a day passes by when some fake news or misinformation is spread on the Indo-China issue, just to make us appear weak or unsure. And the tragedy is, it is spread by Indians. मतलब कोई नए न्यू ईयर रेजोल्यूशन भी नहीं लिया इन लोगों ने, वही चला आ रहा है. Remember a few weeks ago, it was about China occupying a village in Arunachal Pradesh. Did they not know that it has been under Chinese occupation since 1959? You rebutted that fact. 3 years even before the 1952 Indo-China war that led to China occupying even more of our territory. Did you not know that? I'm sure they did. But even then, they want to spread fake news. In fact, if you remember, Rahul, the article that tom-tommed this so-called Chinese aggression diabolically didn't mention this fact at all. The whole idea was to create confusion and use this as a stick to hit the government with. Because some people in this country haven't been able to digest the fact that in June 2020, the bully was taught a lesson. And as for those who remain hysterical and don't even trust our armed forces on this, let me remind them what they said when their beloved Congress was in power during the UPA. I quote, the India-China border is not yet defined. So when the Chinese make incursions, it only means they haven't entered our territory, unquote. And by the way, the very same Galwan that Modi was accused of losing to China was under Chinese occupation before 2014. And who is saying this? You guessed it. The same Sahayaks from what I call the Chinese PLA Patrakar regiment. Quote, since the 1962 war, China has extended its control over the entire Galwan River, unquote. The fact, Rahul, is that the McMahon line and the LAC, unlike the LOC, remains undefined at most places and is categorized under differing perception. Even the status quo is disputed by both sides. So these transgressions are historical. And as for the Congress, it has got some nerve, I tell you, even that China occupied 640 square kilometers of eastern Ladakh during the UPA, a fact reiterated by none other than the UPA's own foreign secretary. Or when China managed to make nearly 600 incursions into the Indian side between 2010 and 2013. Yes. Or when on July 12, 2013, the Chinese entered 28 kilometers deep into our territory at Depsang. Then both the Congress and the Communists were as tight-lipped as a Tamilian who's just gobbled up the last Mysore Pak on the plate.
Well, these are important points. And Mayur Shekhar Jha, who represents... Then am I wrong?
No, absolutely. Tomorrow, they will bring out some even more ludicrous video and then demand, Rahul Gandhi demand that Narendra Modi should speak on the floor of the House. I mean, this is bizarre. But if I can, Rahul, credence is given to the statements made by two of your panelists based on the antecedents. And can I please remind them, I want to deal only facts, and both of them are very good friends, very esteemed panelists. So, and just so that your audience doesn't get confused, there are two Jhas here. So as for Jha 1, my good friend Sanjay, I just want one question. This is a very pointed question, Sanjay. When you were not suspended from Congress, when you were high and mighty up in the US, is it not a fact, my friend, that in 2013, the Chinese entered 28 kilometers deep into our territory in Depsang, and the UPA government said, please do not disclose this as a fact because our foreign minister is going to meet the foreign minister of China. For a month, this fact was not disclosed. And as for Jhatu, Mr. Mayur, is it not a fact that Mr. Shyam Saran said that India has lost 640 square kilometers of territory of Eastern Ladakh to China? Please tell me, these are two factual questions to Jha 1 and Jha 2. Please answer.
Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, I need to move on. Yes.
So very quickly, just 2 points, just to augment what said Rahul. It was Manmohan Singh who said that India's graver danger is actually from within India. And just to add to what you said about the nuclear plants, this thing when 8,000 sedition cases were filed, Mr. Chidambaram is on record. And I have documented this fact. He called all of them, quote unquote, anti-national. BJP ने सुना भी नहीं था ये phrase anti-national. Chidambaram ने पहले use किया. And as for my good friend Mr. Sudhir, I am just astonished as to someone on national television can say that I hate someone. Why would somebody hate? I mean, who are the other people that Mr. Sudhir hate? Do you have a
Anand,
list?
why don't you
Abhishek
dig up
Singh,
the Haridwar
that you
video?
hate Modi? Why do you hate Modi? Tell
Dig up
me.
the Haridwar
Give
video.
me one reason why you hate him.
problem with the use of the
How
word
can
hate.
somebody hate someone? You can dislike what he does
Check
and stop
Haridwar,
making
yaar.
this buffoonery. This stupid
check
gestures.
Haridwar.
that
Okay,
you
let's
do.
not get into rhetoric. The fact of the matter is, viewers, let's
real about it.
forget the rhetoric right now. Look, people are entitled to say what they want to say within reasonable limits. Of course, there are others who will disagree with me and say that this is, free for all and people should be allowed to say whatever they want to, but that's their position. All I'm saying is, viewers, it's very, very simple. There is enough evidence to suggest that China has lied. Now, it could be very well possible that that evidence shows up tomorrow. The government might actually make a detailed statement rebutting all of this. Fake news. I would advise them against it, but they might. Then, viewers, what happens? Then who is guilty of propagating a myth? There is yet another now attack on the government, this time by Mr.